Let's talk about my nightmares with Anima Sola Abyssina Clarissa. So Anima Sola means lonely soul. Abyssina Clarissa, I usually think of as the abyssal spirit, Clarissa. This is a being that you'll often find in Obeah, usually associated with the Jamaican version of the spirit, Anima Sola Abyssina Clarissa. So I've been having dreams slash nightmares for a while, not every night. I have many different kinds of dreams, nightmares, but there's a certain nature to some of them that I know is Animasola Abyssina Clarissa. So I often have these nightmares slash dreams where so just for some context, where I've worked with her most is in the attic behind the room in which I sleep, behind the closet in the room in which I sleep, my main bedroom. I built a little shrine to her there, out of wood and a sigil and a Bible. She's a kind of purgatory soul. So there's certain passages of the Bible that you read when you're connecting to her, not necessarily as an offering, but as an alteration of your frequency to connect with this being that is Animasola Abyssina Clarissa, the lonely soul, Abyssina Clarissa. I've worked with her quite a few times in that little attic behind a little door in the closet in my main bedroom. The times that I worked with her were some of my lowest. They were the times when I was very depressed, many years ago. I actually haven't been into that little attic that's just 20 feet from me to my left, your right, in over a year. When I would read these Bible passages that are associated with her, for some reason, they're very esoteric Bible passages, very occult Bible passages. But a lot of the time I'd be crying, weeping, in deep depression, and I'd be working with her. And there's a little light bulb with a little string on it, and that little light bulb, the little attic is kind of long. That's behind the closet to my left, and I'd be reading these Bible passages. I'd be calling out to her in tears, and I'd stare into the blackness just beyond where the light reached. And I'd often see an elongated human form moving. While awake, this is not dreams or nightmares, while awake, moving if I stared into the blackness. So, in the dreams that I'm talking about, or nightmares, kind of a mixture of both. In the dreams and nightmares that I had that were in regard to her, obviously, I'd go into that little attic. These are the nightmare and dream version of what happened, not the actual of what happened physically. Bunch of dreams and nightmares I still have now, where I go into that attic and then I see a little window off into the side of this space, and I look through the window and I see all kinds of strange and wonderful things through that little window that I just want to get to. And there's a little door connected to the window. Sometimes I go through the door, sometimes I don't. When I do go through the door, I find a very large room with a lot of antique things. very dark still, and I'm very scared. And a lot of the antiques aren't things I've seen before, and I'll go deeper, and then I'll find other doors, and then those doors lead to courtyards, and then I realize it's part of a vast, like, old castle system in a way, where there's other rooms and other courtyards, and I've had many dreams where I go into these courtyards, go into these rooms, and it seems like these labyrinths, and it is a labyrinth, it's just endless, this maze is endless of all kinds of stuff that I don't even think I've seen before. Just very antique stuff that hasn't been touched in a while. And sometimes when I enter a courtyard, I'll look up and it's a sky that doesn't make sense for an earth sky. There's colors that don't make sense. There's cloud formations are strange. And some of the nightmares slash dreams, I'll just call them dreams from now on. I don't need to keep on dicing it up. You know, there's always this natural calm, but also this feeling of foreboding, of terrible presence, of something just beyond the next room, beyond the next courtyard, beyond the next experience. And, you know, sometimes there's no courtyards, and I just go deeper and deeper into these rooms and hallways, and I go deeper and deeper. I'm more and more afraid. I start to see more and more ghosts out of the corner of my eye in these dreams. And the few times that I get to what feels like, you know, the deepest, darkest chamber, she's there with black hair. And the only time that I can get through all this and get to her is if I feel myself with anger and rage and just force myself to do it. Approaching with a semblance of peace and calm is just out of the question, because it requires so much courage to go that deep within the labyrinth, to go through all these scary things and finally get to her. And then she slowly raises her head with all this black hair, and I never see her face completely. And then either I wake up or the dream ends. A lot of time I'll wake up. So I've had a lot of depression in the past, and there's power in that depression. There's also a lot of lessons in the depression. They say that Kriyananda and others have said that when you don't remember your dreams or nightmares, that's when your subconscious has stopped talking to you. And because you stopped listening to it. In reality, we always dream. We have to dream in order to live. You know, I'll give an example. Michael Jackson died because, in my understanding, but this is also true for other people if it's not for him, died because he couldn't dream, because he kept on, was given this drug by his doctor that would put him into sleep, but he wouldn't go through the dream phase. And if you don't go through the dream phase and sleep, eventually you die. Now, don't get alarmed, because everybody dreams, but there's a lot of people who don't remember them. It takes some kind of narcotic in order to not be able to dream. But your subconscious, it makes you remember your dreams when it thinks you can learn from them, or that you will learn from them. If it's like, okay, well, this guy's not going to, he hasn't been listening to me so far, so what's the point of him remembering the dream? That's when you stop remembering your dreams, because your subconscious kind of gave up. It's like, well, he doesn't need to remember his dreams because he's not going to take the hint. He's not going to analyze what I'm trying to tell him. Subconscious is very deep. So a good way to remember these things, as a side note, is to analyze every painful part of your life, every painful memory, and ask, what was the lesson? Everything that you've gone through, whether it was your fault or not, there's a lesson attached to it. If while you're awake, you analyze, say, okay, why did this happen to me? Why do I feel sad right now? Always ask questions. If you don't ask why you're sad right now and what the solution is, or why did that experience happen to me, and what was the lesson that karma was trying to teach me? if you don't ask questions like that constantly, and if you don't analyze your memories of bad experiences, or your sadness now, or what you feel lacking in now, something that you don't have that you feel like you want, and you try to find the root of that, and you try to find the lesson that karma's trying to teach you, that's when your subconscious will be like, oh, he's going to start listening to me again. Because your subconscious won't speak to you in your conscious mind. Analyze everything that you've been through and ask, what was the lesson? That's when your subconscious might start taking notice again. Ask yourself, why am I sad? Will what I imagine to be, what's coming in the future, why do I think that will make me happier? Why do I think that will solve what I'm feeling now? Start asking these questions. Start trying to find the answers. Then your subconscious will most likely start talking to you again, and you'll start remembering these dreams and nightmares that you have regardless, but your subconscious will start making you remember them. I think. Could be wrong. So, every now and then I'll talk to Anima Sola, Abyssina Carissa, and I'll just ask her for something. It'll be something medium-sized. It won't be like something small or huge, but she'll just grant it. She's a purgatory spirit. Not a demon, not an angel, but a spirit burning in kind of a purgatory-like realm who uses that energy of burning, who kind of wants to burn, who wants to feel the sadness, who wants to feel the pain, because it's comfortable. And that speaks to a lot of us. And it's hard to describe her nature because, we're stuck in duality and the idea of like heaven or hell kind of things, but she's a purgatory spirit. She feeds on the sadness and burning of herself, not when it happens to others, of herself. She is in constant transition, and that is her power. And that's the power that she can offer to us, is the transitory nature of our depression and sadness, and making it into a lesson that we learn. There's great power in that. And one of these days, I imagine I'll get to the deepest, darkest chamber in these nightmares and dreams and truly behold her face. But it's so scary getting there. And it feels like more and more claustrophobic with spirits and darkness. But I think that she wants me to analyze my own depression when I was at my worst, because there's things to learn from it. And if I don't learn from it, then I'm going to go back to that same sadness and depression I was in. She wants me to learn. She wants me to grow. She wants me to evolve. But I run from my deeper sadness. I run from my depression. I don't look for the lessons, and I don't look for the roots and causes. It's easier to run to something fun rather than address what is hard to bear. But what is hard to bear makes us strong within. Analyze, always, what you've been through. Why you're sad, why you're angry. Analyze it. Everything that we experience is meant to teach a lesson. What is karma? What is the universe trying to tell you in particular? You as an individual, having nothing to do with anybody else. What are your experiences trying to tell you? What is the universe trying to get through our thick human skulls? Your thick human skull, my thick human skull. What are we supposed to learn? So, in conclusion, I'll go ahead and I'll do my little candle ritual. It's not something huge, but do my little candle ritual and we'll go right to that. Sola Abacina Clarissa. Animasola Abacina Clarissa. Animasola Abacina Clarissa. Animasola Abacina Clarissa. Prayer to the lonely soul. Listen, mortal, to the lament of an imprisoned soul, lonely, sad, and abandoned in purgatory, dark chamber. I wish that all I have missed or lost appears to be given to me. I hope you ask him to give me the light and understanding to accomplish this his holy law, to love him over everything, in order to receive from his divine majesty my eternal salvation. I wish to find more like myself. Amen. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, power, and glory, forever and ever. Amen.